Because the scriptures say 2/3 are going to be cut off and die, right? So the third part that's going to be left, how is the 2/3 going to come back? The 2/3 are going to come back through the 1/3. The 1/3 that make it out of here, out of this destruction, from being here in Babylon, and the ones that are scattered throughout the rest of the four corners of the earth that the angels pick up and take in the chariots. When we come back down to this earth after the destruction, the ones that die are going to be bred back by the ones that make it. 2/3 are going to be cut off and die, but they're going to come back in the kingdom as the children of the 1/3. They're going to come back and they're going to get it right this time. In this side right here, they're going to have to be sacrificed.
It shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God.
Isaiah 60 and 21 and 22, the points in 22. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time. So this is talking about when we're set up in the kingdom, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. That's talking about the men of Israel. We're going to have so many children. One man is going to have 1,000 children. And then another man is going to have so many children. It's going to be like a strong nation. And it's just going to be his children. And each man, we're going to multiply like that. We're going to have children upon children. But like I said, the Lord is going to restore us. He's going to restore us in the kingdom. We're going to get that ancient world stature and strength. We're going to get all that back.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful they got there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and what I want to get into today, is dealing with Adam, Eve, and the serpent. Okay, dealing with the account in the garden and linking it to the situation that we're in today. Okay, because I had this comment on the comment board from my old video that I done. All right, so I'm gonna pull it up. We're going to go to the comments, and then we're going to go into getting some understanding. All right. So this was a video I done some months ago, 3 months ago. All right. And it was brothers beware Eve the hyena. All right. He was this begging ass nigga woman on TikTok. All right. Asking for somewhere to stay, but still having pride, whatever, and the whole thing was going into the beware of, the nigga woman, the Eve, the hyena, especially in these times. Okay. So let's get this, and we're going to get there because look at these precepts, and then we'll get into those comments. All right. But Let's get this. All right. This is Proverbs 4:7. It says, "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all our wisdom, get understanding." And as we, continue to elevate and delve into the truth and learn more, get more experience while we in this truth real time. All right. Well, we begin to get understanding. Because when we first come in, we're soaking up all this wisdom. Okay. But it takes experience, with the wisdom to get understanding. All right. And as we, okay, mature, as the scriptures speak about, we begin to have a different perspective about everything. Okay. This is 1 Corinthians 13:11 said, "When I was a child, I spake as a child, understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things." Okay, and when we came into the truth, we were very childish, man. And there was a phase, brothers go through, okay, where you're just angry at the nigga woman, you spend hours, just getting on the nigga woman, and you just growling at the nigga woman in public. You go through that phase in the truth, man. But as we mature in this thing and we understand, us better, why we're in this situation as men, we understand, what this captivity has done to the nigga woman. All right. We understand how she was used as a tool, and you just have generation being born, okay, into a counterproductive mindset. Okay, how traumatized the woman is, how traumatized we are, and we begin to look at things in a different perspective. And then it's a thing of just understanding that, look, it is what it is. Now it's time to push towards a victory. Okay, because the truth is about the believers being healed. Okay, and it's childish to go back and forth, and it's your fault. It's your fault. See, if you wouldn't have did this, and that's pointless. Okay, we beyond that. We in the situation now. All right, and the Lord has allowed us a great spirit to heal. So now the thing is about healing. Okay, and we're gonna continue to call things out. Which at the end of the day, the nigga woman is falling off the radar. All right, she's pretty much of no concern. Okay, certain brothers, speak on that topic more. Okay, but at the end of the day, man, as we get into, all right, the trenches of prophecy, man. Okay, the topic of the nigga woman is becoming more scarce. All right, because for the most part, we know that the majority of them done. Okay, like the Eve doesn't need. Okay, you see a breakdown. All right, she's pretty much just in complete self-destruct mode for the most part. All right, but we're gonna get this and get some understanding. Like I say, this is more so of edification. All right, then to bash the nigga one. Like I said, we went through those phases. All right, but as we mature, it's like you wink at Eve and keep it moving with more serious matters, man. Because there's so much more. All right, to tap into than the nigga woman. All right, um, so let's go to the comment, and then we're gonna get the account. So, uh, so this comment came a couple days ago. All right. Now let me see her first. Okay. So this was 2 days ago. This is Rose the realist. Okay. I don't know if this is the nigga woman or not. I ain't go to the channel. All right. Let's see. When you go to the channel, standing for your spouse when you can, But yeah, ain't nothing much on there. But Rose a realist, so I don't know if it's a nigga woman or what. All right. But this is her comment, that she left. She left a few comments, and I went back and forth with her, just to, you know, play play with her mind, like how I did the woman at the well. All right, it says, Rose the realist. It says, when you think, it says, why you think the Most High checked Adam instead of Eve, which that's false. Okay, we're gonna get that. All right, that's not a completely true statement. Yes, Adam got checked, but Eve got checked too. Okay, it says, Adam, you failed to protect Eve from Satan just like you're doing now. Okay, so we're going to deal with that. All right, we're gonna deal with that. But let's go back here. Okay, so pretty much it's the man fault. In this society, everything is the Israelite man fault. All right, men that had nothing to do. Okay, with the situation that women are in, was somehow is our fault. Okay, now she put this on the comment. She said you pick, and then she was responding to. It says the next thing you know, the other brother from Boston. He put this comment about this video. It says next thing you know, you're out your own home with some type of grape allegations against you. All right, because nigga woman was begging, okay, to be put up. You know, so the brother was like, yeah, you do that, and the next thing you know, you'll be out your own home with grape allegations against you. Okay, so she put under his comment, you pick a woman of the world and get mad when she does what the world does. So I'm guessing this is a woman that's supposed to be, you know, in the truth or the faith, or I don't know. Okay, because she's speaking about the women of the world. That's another thing, uh, these women that's in the truth, with a lot of women, that in the truth, and they just think that they just light years above women of the world. Okay, when nah, okay, sometimes they can be the worst because they think they got leverage with the scriptures. That's a whole nother topic. But it says the state of your community is your fault, black man. Can't be a leader and not take accountability. Can't be a leader, all right, and not take accountability. Okay, so now all the blame is on Jake. Okay, and what we're going to get into the video, we're not going to shy away from the part, all right, of the sons of God that they had in the fall, okay, of us as a nation. But what we're not going to do is act like the nigga woman, all right, didn't play a major part, all right, as Eve in the garden, and all right, during the 60s, okay. In this time, we're not going to act like from the 60s until now that the nigga woman, all right, has been the most effective tool in destroying the nation, all right, used by Esau Edom, the serpent coming back. Okay, we're not going to negate that. Okay, as the sons of God, as leaders, yeah, we had a part in that, and I put some precepts, but then we're gonna get the precept. I want to get the comments, and then we'll get our precept. All right. So then she said, so let me get this. So I put 1 Timothy 2:11 through 14. Okay, about the woman, being deceived. Okay, Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. All right. So she responded that I say you were deceived, you were irresponsible, and didn't protect your wife from Satan. And the letter was to the woman of that church. All right, which no, it was general information about women teaching. Okay, which Howard Shah spoke about women teaching in the book of Revelation. Okay, and it says, and the letter was to the woman of that church. All right, so now she's trying to teach me. It says, I'm not teaching, all right, or preaching, but the Most High never said a woman can't rebuke or correct a man. It says you're not above correction. So now she's teaching. Okay, so uh uh when I go here, I responded. I said Adam was wrong for listening to Eve. Okay, and we're gonna get into that. He was checked for that. We as Israelite men are suffering until this day. All right, for that for the sons of God failing, all right, to uphold righteousness. Okay, it says we can admit our fault in the situation. However, Eve listening to the serpent was her own sin. Quick question. So I asked her a question. Okay, so I asked her. I said, "Does your husband have to be present with you 24/7 for you not to commit adultery?" Okay, and this was a question I asked. Does your husband have to be with you 24/7 for you not to commit adultery? And I haven't got a response in 2 days. Okay, so I gave her 2 days to see, the benefit of the doubt, no response. All right, because if you're saying that Adam It was Adam's fault that Eve listened to the serpent. Well, you're saying that your husband should have to be with you 24/7 for you to not commit adultery. Okay, that's the logic that you're running with. Okay, Eve listening to the serpent was her own sin because she knew what to do. Okay, so let's get that account, all right, and let's deal with everybody involved. Okay, so let's go here. Uh, let's go to Genesis. All right, let's just get the account. All right, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 3, and verse 1. It says, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yeah, have the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. So ye came to Eve. All right, the woman being the weaker vessel. All right, easy to manipulate. You see, and then the serpent had to peep something in Eve for him to even try that. Okay, for him to even come. All right, with this angle. Okay, so he came asking Eve, all right, yeah, had the Most High said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, okay, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High have said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Okay, so Eve knew what to do. Okay, Eve knew exactly what to do. Okay, because she was what under the subjection to Adam, so she understood what not to do. Her husband told her what not to do. Okay, and the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. So now he's lying to her. Okay, and you don't think that Adam been putting her on game. Okay, but it was something that was in Eve that was already off, and the serpent played on that, man. Okay, for the Most High doth know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So now he's selling her a dream. Okay, and now he's playing on the ambition that's already within her because she wanted something else. She wanted something else besides paradise. Okay, she was curious about other things besides paradise, man. Okay, and it says, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, hold on, the woman saw, okay, Eve saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes. So this is why Apostle Paul said the woman being deceived. Okay, and it says, and that it was pleasant to the eyes and a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also to her husband, and he did eat. Okay, so she brought this back to Adam, all right, and then eventually wore him down, all right, to partake in. Okay, but it was through her, okay, that this was introduced to the sons of God. Okay, now Adam was given a responsibility because you go back to Genesis. Okay, we're not gonna shy away. Okay, because see, we beyond that point. All right, so they're arguing back and forth about who's at fault and who's to blame. Well, okay, we all played a part in it. You see, but now we're in the process of healing. So now we all take accountability, all right, for the fall. Okay, and now the Lord is gathering, okay, a remnant for a victory, man. Okay, beginning with the men. Now, when you go here to Genesis 2 and 7, all right, because what was given Adam, it says, and the Lord formed, all right, man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Okay, so this man, which is Adam, was already living. Okay, but he was chosen out, okay, to get the Rakakodash, all right, the spirit, the breath of life, okay, the understanding, purpose, righteousness. You see? So when you go here, All right. It says in the verse 15, the Lord power took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Now, okay, when you go here to this word keep, all right, because Adam was given a rulership. You see, the Lord set him up in power. Okay, he was given that breath to rule in righteousness, man. All right, because you go into this word keep, all right, which is the Hebrew word shamar. And what does it go into? Okay, it says to keep, to guard, to observe, to give heed. Okay, it says to keep watch and ward, to protect, to save life. So Adam was given a righteous way to protect and save life in the earth. His rulership was meant to protect and save life in the earth. Okay, the serpent came out of envy and corrupted that way. And he used a tool of the woman, okay, to do that. All right. And after, all right, Adam, when it was brought to, Eve, and then Eve brought it to Adam, and you had what? The fall. Okay. And the Lord, all right, he checks all of them. When you go down here to Genesis 3 and 12, okay, it says, and the man said, all right, to the woman, let me go here. All right, now when the Lord, all right, sent the prophet, who did he send him to first? Adam. He sent him to Adam first. Okay, because Adam was given what? That breath to what? To keep and protect life. Okay, and him hearkening to his woman caused a major ripple effect. Okay, for sin to begin what? To dominate in the earth all the way into the time it had to be a flood. Okay, it says, and the Lord called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? Where art thou? Okay, and he said, I heard thy voice in the garden. I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself. Yeah, because he began to what? Devil and dabble in sin. Okay, he didn't have on the clothing of righteousness that the scriptures speak of. Okay, so he was ashamed. He wasn't literally naked, he was ashamed. Okay, it says, and he said, what told thee that thou was naked? Like, how do you even know about that? How do you know the knowledge of sin? How do you even know the knowledge of sins where you can be ashamed? All right. Hast thou eaten of the tree wherefore I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? So the order came from the Most High, okay, to Adam, and then it was Adam, okay, told it to Eve. That's how she knew not to eat of it. Okay, it says, and the man said, the woman whom thou givest to be with me, she gave me the tree, and I did eat. Okay, so now Adam, okay, is putting it on the woman. You see? So now, all right, as you keep reading, it says, and the Lord power said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? Now he's checking the woman. Okay, Adam, all right, has been addressed. Now he's checking the woman. Like, what the hell have you done? What the hell did you give him? Okay, and the woman said, the serpent beguiled me. So now the woman putting it on the serpent. Okay, well, everybody had a part in it. Adam, Eve, and the serpent. They're all being addressed. Okay, and there's a punishment and the suffering that will come to all three parties, man. Okay, and it says, uh, and the Lord said unto the woman, what is it that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the Lord said unto the serpent, so all three of them have been addressed. Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life, man. And that's a future prophecy that's finna happen in these times. All right, because Esau, he's gonna have it worse in the kingdom. Okay, he's gonna have the worst captivity, okay, amongst these heathens in the kingdom, man. He's gonna go into confusion. Okay, he's gonna be demoted to the lowest. Okay, and he's gonna be in a lower state until he's eradicated out the earth. He's gonna be eliminated from the garden in the kingdom, man. Okay, because the garden was the earth in paradise, and the eastward in garden was Jerusalem, Israel. Okay, it says, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head. All right, and thou shalt bruise his heel. And that's the ongoing All right, enmity between the nation of Israel and the seed of the wicked, which today it plays out as Jacob and Esau, the descendants of Jacob and the descendants of Edomites. Okay, unto the woman he said, okay, this is the woman being held accountable. I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, and in sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Okay, so the birth pains, all right, these great birth pains, all right, that was the punishment of Eve. Okay, now he's dressing Adam. So now he handed out the sentence to Adam, to the serpent. He's handed out a sentence to Eve. Now he's handing out a sentence to Adam. And it says unto Adam, he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and has eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Okay? And you see the circumstances, right, that we're in as Israelites men, as Israelite men. Okay, overworked, underpaid, okay, overworked, underappreciated. You see, Jake has to go above and beyond, had to make a living in this society, man. Okay, you know, we don't have no power. You see, within the house, that's all a punishment, man. Okay, so all three parties were addressed because of this. You see, and it all goes back to the serpent being envious of the rulership and the order, okay, that Adam had, the sons of God had. Okay, so to sit back, and try to get caught up in the back and forth. Now we're gonna address the whole thing. Like I said, we're not gonna shy away from the responsibility as men, as leaders. We fail, and the Lord plays us in the mind all the time because now that we want power and we're like, damn, we powerless. That's a torment, man. Okay, the condition of our people, that's a torment unto us, man. Okay, we understand, like, damn, the situations where we in, the dysfunction that we have to exist in, and this shit is a torture, man. And we understand that we played a part in it. Okay, but you can't say that, oh, see, Adam, he didn't watch Eve, he let the serpent get to Eve. No, the Eve let the serpent get to Eve. Okay, what Eve supposed to do? He ruling the earth. What he supposed to be, babysit Eve all goddamn day? Okay, she know what to do. Okay, you have to go to school and sit beside your child all goddamn day. Shouldn't they know what to do? Okay, so let's go here. All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. Okay, and verse 20. All right, it's Wisdom of Solomon 20. So like Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, verse 23 said, for the Most High created man to be immortal, and made him to be an image of his own eternity. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that hold on his side, do find it. So in the beginning, Adam was given their breath, their righteous way to be immortal. Okay, and Esau was right, the serpent, all right, which Esau today was envious of that. He was envious of that order. He was envious of that glory. All right, so he made a play through the woman. Okay, and the woman betrayed Adam. Okay, and Adam hearkened to the woman. All right, and you had what? The fall, okay, of the sons of God. Having the same time in Genesis the 6th chapter, the falls of the son of God. Noah was the only one that stayed faithful to the way. Okay, and there was a remnant. All right, through his son Shem, you will have eventually Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, and then King David, King Solomon, we got back, to the top. But what happened? Solomon fell weak to what? The woman. Okay, fell again. You see? So we understand, even Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's why. All right, when you have this, let's go here real quick. I say we fully take on our part as men. Like I said, we're constantly tormented. Like, you won't believe the torment, that, because the scriptures say, well, you increase in wisdom, you increase in sorrow. So Israelite men, there's a daily torment that we go through. All right, with the circumstances that we're in, man. Okay, we haven't gone unscathed, man. Okay, and we're the tail of society. Okay, we're the tail, especially working class, Jake. Okay, which, hey, brothers in the truth, what are we? We're working class, Jake. Okay, that's the bottom of the bottom. You see, in this society. So let's go here, because the book of Matthew, even when you had just to show you this, because Yahushua understood, that he played a part in the condition, and that's why the Lord, the Heavenly Father, had Yahushua come into, okay, uh, a kingdom of the serpent, the Roman Empire. There was the serpent in power. Esau, Edom, the devil, he was in power. Yahushua was born into the peak of the Roman Empire, and he understood, like, damn, you know. So when you go here, um, to the book, all right, it's the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 16. It says, and behold, one came and said unto him, good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? Verse 17, the response of Yahushua, and he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one. All right, that is the Most High. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. So Yahushua, he like, why calls me good? There is none good but one. That is the Most High, because he understood in his previous lives the part he played in the fall. He understood that the captivity he was living in as Yahushua, he played a part in that, falling from rulership. Now the serpent is in power, and this is what the serpent wanted from the beginning. It was a power play. He used Eve for a power play. Okay, the feminist movement. He used Eve for a power play to keep Jake in the degenerate, okay, dysfunctional state. Okay, because the Lord doesn't deal with us when we're out of order. You see, it's a spiritual wickedness in high places, man. Okay, so Jake on the internet, Jake and Eve on the internet arguing about whose fault. No, we passed that. Okay, we all through. Okay, we all damaged. Okay, we all need, all right, the healing of this word, man. Okay, outside of that, there ain't nothing else to talk about, man. We're moving forward. We're moving beyond pointing the finger, man. Okay, and as men, we move beyond being bitter at the woman. It is what it is now, man. Okay, this is deeper than the nigga woman in America, man. Okay, we moving way beyond that now. Okay, you few sisters, I know you're about tired of hearing about the nigga woman, her antics and her dumb ass comments. Okay, well, we're gonna address these things from time to time to get understanding. All right, so let's go here to First Corinthians. Okay, because remember the Apostle Paul, he learned from Yahushua. All right, so he's going into this breakdown. All right, it says this is First Corinthians 15 and 20. It says, but now is Yahushua risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, by man also the resurrection of the dead. Okay, for as in Adam all die, even so in Yahushua shall all be made alive. So Yahushua was so locked in because he knew he had to make up from what he did as Adam, what he did as King Solomon. Okay, so he knew, like, look, I'm gonna just sacrifice this whole life. I'm not even gonna deal in the world at all. Okay, I'm gonna just be obedient. Okay, and take my punishment. You see, be a sacrifice for the nation. Get the nation back where they supposed to be. Okay, and that's what Yahushua is doing. He's has a remnant that he's, all right, conditioning for rulership. because he paid the price for us to get back where we're supposed to be, to get back to the glory. Okay? If you're a woman and you still stuck on this argument and trying to, wiggle out accountability and put everything on the man, you're missing the mark. Okay? You're gonna get melted with that mindset, just trying to blame Jake for every goddamn thing. Okay? It ain't the mindset to be in. All right? Yahweh Shai has set a path back to glory, and that's through what? Following him. As men getting in order under Yahweh Bashim Shai, as women getting in order under those men. Okay, anything outside of there trying to argue and trying to make a point, all right, is out of order, man. All right, and that way of thinking gonna get left here. It's gonna get melted. It's gonna become part of the deserts of America, man. That way of thinking. Okay, even when you go to this count, let's go to Genesis. Okay, so when you go to Genesis, it's at 19, the destruction of Sodom. All right, yeah, the doom of Sodom. All right, now this is Genesis 19 and 15, and it says, and when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife and thy two daughters which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And when he lingered, the men laid hold upon him, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his two daughters, and the Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. So they're giving the instructions of what to do. Okay, the angels like, look, bring y'all ass out of here. Okay, we finna destroy it. We can't destroy it till you get out. Okay, so get your ass out of here. They had to force them out. Okay, the angels are here. Okay, intervening in the situation and telling them what to do. Okay, and Lot said unto them, oh no, not so, my Lord. Behold, thy servant hath behold now thy servant hath found grace in thy sight. All right, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast showed unto him, and saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and die. Behold, now, all right, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. All right, it is not a little one, and my soul, all right, shall live. So he like, look, let me go a little farther out, Lot is like, look, let me get more out the way to escape the judgment. And he said unto him, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I would not overthrow this city for that which thou hast spoken. Haste, all right, thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou come thither. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun was risen up upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew the cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the city, all right, and that which grew up upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. So here it is. You get instruction from the angels. They're telling you exactly what to do. Okay. Then you're escaping the judgment. You're hearing all this judgment because you think it was silent what was going on when the Lord was judging Sodom and Gomorrah. So you're hearing the angels getting busy. Okay, fire and brimstone coming from the heavens, so it's going down. Okay, and what do the goddamn woman do? Look back, and Lot was right there. So what Lot could have did to prevent his wife from not looking back? Nothing. That was on her, and that's why she got her ass zapped. Okay, and he was delivered. You see, so all this, blame game and podcast, topics. Okay, like this some type of podcast show, and we just gonna sit here and argue. Nah, man, we beyond that. Okay, we beyond that, man. All right, and you women, you still think like that, and you still got this secret feminist ideologies, man. Not gonna make it, man. That shit get burnt up here. just like Lot wife, man. Their way of thinking. Okay, we all played a part in it. Okay, and we all got a deal. This from the brother, the elder brother, but Yum Yum out of Mississippi camp, Shalom, bro. GMS punished the wicked, and it says, Second Ezra 7:11, because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed now that is done. All right, then were the interests of this world made narrow. So the scriptures hold Adam accountable, man. The position we in today as Israelite men is Adam and the sons of God being held accountable, man. Okay, Yahushua suffered on the cross. He was beat more worse than any man. You see, in this kingdom, we're beat down. The Israelite man is beat down. Okay, daily. You see, so we're suffering because of what we did in rulership. We failed. We fumbled the rulership. You see, and we're reminded every day. Okay, but then on the flip side, what does the scripture say? All right, this is brother Dawud Dodge, GMS in his likeness. So Rock 25:24 says that the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Okay, through her we all die. You see, so it said of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die, man. Because you ever put a woman in leadership, it's over. Everybody involved is doomed. Okay, women have a beautiful order, all right, and they have a purpose under the Israelite man. Okay, and when they start to operate outside of their purpose, all right, it gets catastrophic for everybody. Okay, and you see the conditions, okay, of the community today is the woman operating outside her order, man. Okay, which she was given that privilege by who? The serpent today, Esau Edom, man. Okay, which he's finna be judged. Matter of fact, let's get that. All right, because Yahweh Shai is coming to deal with this guy, man, the serpent. All right, he's the source of all this madness, man. All right, this oh no, we get Revelation 12. Okay, and we can end it there. This book of Revelation, chapter 12. Okay, uh, Revelation 12 and 7, and it says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. All right, so this is the showdown between Yahweh Shai and Esau, which is a rematch, okay, of Adam and the serpent, if you can receive it. Okay, because the dragon represents what? A pagan Rome revived in the earth, man, as America, NATO, and EU. Okay, it says, and prevail not, okay, the devils, neither was their place found anymore in heaven in rulership, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, and this is when it's going to be fulfilled, all right, him going to his belly, okay, which is him being demoted to the lowest position in the earth, man. That old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels was cast out with him, man. This is military. Okay, it's going to be overthrown by Yahweh Shai and the angels, man. Okay, and order is going to be reestablished in the earth. Paradise is going to be reestablished in the earth, man, forever. Okay, so that was the point, man. Just wanted to respond to that, so Lord will, all right, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Once again, give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.